Happy Friday. Welcome back to my subscribers. Welcome any newcomers. Today we'll be doing a love reading with a little bit of a different emphasis this time. So I have in front of me 3 different decks, and they are associated with different crystals, with my snowflake obsidian, with my rose quartz, and with my amethyst. You can pick by the decks or you can pick by the crystals that you like, but basically I will be going through a full and complete reading for each of these decks, and the goal will be to describe what people think about you, what draws people to you in love. I do have associations with these decks in mind, so please sit with yourself in meditation for a little bit, see which one that you are drawn to, and then you can click down below and I will leave a timestamp for when your reading starts. I will be going into what people find attractive about you physically, as well as just like your personality and how you can work on these things to draw even more love your way. So if that sounds good to you, let's get started. Okay, if you are here, this is because you chose deck number 1. Snowflake obsidian is a very good grounding stone in my experience with it. It has all of the qualities that you would expect of obsidian. Very grounding, very focusing, but with the snowflake aspect of it, it's not quite as harsh of a grounding, and it still leaves a lot of room for compromise with others. And also, if you were drawn to this deck, off the top, people really are drawn in by your mind first and foremost. They love the way that you think. They can talk to you about anything. They love how witty you are, how funny you are. You're just a great thinker in general. You are a person who, you're not quite as serious as, you might seem on the surface. You don't like to constantly dive into work. You are really, love-minded. You are constantly trying to do something that feeds your soul. That's what's most important to you. And when you are in love, like, you kind of will put everything to the side, and the person that falls for you, they're really gonna like that aspect about you more than anything else. Just the willingness that you have to really fully commit to putting yourself kind of on the back burner and putting all of your time into them. I feel like you are very generous when you are in love, but I wouldn't say like to the extreme. You still have boundaries when it comes to money, but it's like they would find it very easy to come and ask you for money over someone else. Like, when you love, like, you will give the world to them, and people really see that and they appreciate it so much. with you, with the sun, it's like when you are around someone, like romantically, they kind of become the center of your world. You gravitate around them. Your life revolves around them 100%. You know, work be damned. They're your sun. They're your reason for being. And they really, really appreciate that. You are a person who can be depended on, but you don't necessarily assert that quality about the emperor that can come up sometimes, where they only want it their way or the highway. You're not that person. You want everyone to win in a situation, or maybe not even then. Like, the emperor is a leader, so if the emperor has to lose so that his people will win, like, that's totally you, and it doesn't go unnoticed. You're very careful with your words when you talk. When you are meeting someone, when you're first getting to know them and fall in love with them, you are not quick with showing it. Like, I would say almost it's giving me like you don't want to come on too strong, so you'll hold that part of yourself back. You really guard your words. You are not going to show them with words. You are going to show them with your actions how you feel. And it's really appreciated in your life, you know? What else about this very mental-minded person? It says after the storm. I feel like they like how logical that you are. So it's like when people are getting to know you and they're getting to love you, it's like after you might have a disagreement or you have a falling out with them, you are kind of like the first person to come bearing gifts. Kind of like I was saying before, like you'll give them the world. You don't show them with your words necessarily, you show them with your actions. You may not say, oh, I'm sorry, but you will come bearing gifts. You will buy them their favorite thing, things that let them know that you are definitely thinking about them and not anyone else. It says legacy of light, but I'm most drawn to, it kind of looks like the child, right? And then the mother, and then the grandmother. You think a lot about your family. So this attitude that you have where you put other people ahead of yourself, it extends to every aspect of you. And they're really appreciating the fact that you are there for everyone in your life, not just your romantic connections like that, but like you are very family minded. You make those that you love feel protected all the way down to the babies. Like you are just there for them entirely. And it says visions of life beyond death. I feel like in accordance to your mental strengths that you may even be a person who receives visions of the future. The people who grow to love you and the people in your life, they really depend on your ability to see things before they happen. And if these are abilities that you suspect but maybe haven't walked into, know that they are showing up for you. So like, you have a mental gift on all levels. It's like, it expresses itself in the way that you think and how quick-witted you can be, but also like, you see through people, you see through illusions in this world, you see what things can be to their fullest potential. It's almost like, if you were married, you would be the person to wake up your husband or your wife and be like, I have a dream about you, and this, and this is going to happen. And this person will listen to you because they know that you have like deep insights into what is going to happen, and they really, really need that. And also, another card talking about vision. Yeah, this is definitely for sure a person very intuitive. You have visions. You have very deep insights to people. And it's almost like, when people are getting to know you and people are getting to love you, they see this person who just can think a mile a minute, who can create a way out of no way. People need that ingenuity in their life. When people around you are having a hard time, they're feeling stuck, they don't know what to do, not just in this metaphysical sense where you're like giving them pre-knowledge of events, but it's like, they count on you for creative ideas. You have a vision for life. You can see how things can be for everyone, and you are a leader. They really appreciate that. All right. So now that you know how they see you and what draws people to you, here is a little bit of advice on what you can do to bring those people closer in. All right. I think for you to really make the most of your mental gifts and to avoid hurting people with what can admittedly probably be a very sharp tongue, you don't need to think in terms of winning and losing. Like, when you are having disagreements or verbal sparring matches, find a way to balance the scales. It doesn't have to be where one person wins and one person loses. Change your focus. It kind of leads back to this win or lose thing, right? Like, don't make the focus of an argument winning or losing. Make it compromise. And third eye chakra, it's telling you again, I knew with all this imagery in the background that you have very deep psychic gifts. You need to take the time to cultivate them. Work on your third eye, and it will help you in the way that you not only see the metaphysical part of reality, but it'll also change the way that you relate to others. Shift your focus, work on developing these gifts and using them for the greatest good in your relationships with others. It says the hand and feet bones. I feel like it's probably talking about your fingers. If you want to accentuate your beauty, I really feel like you probably have very beautiful hands, which also is probably, it's giving me Gemini, but you don't have to be, but it's giving me Gemini. Really accentuate your beauty with your fingers, wear rings, wear bracelets, things that kind of make noise. It'll really help distinguish you from other people in your life. Not that you ever could be overshadowed just because you're so special. And also, it says something about your muscles. If you are really into the gym and you have a pretty good physique, make sure that you accentuate that. Wear tops that accentuate how your muscles look. If you have very good calves or something like that, make sure people can see those. Ooh, and then it says upper legs. So, like, you probably have very, very toned legs, especially if you're a female. Don't be afraid to wear shorts this spring and this summer. Like, really show off your muscle structure. And it's not so much about the face for you. It's going to be kind of like showing um, this figure that you tend to work towards. Um, yeah, definitely make the most in your outfits around adorning your hands. Kind of like find some nice rings, find some things that jingle, find some things that make you look good, to show off your muscle definition, especially in those legs, and it will really draw people in so then they can witness all that you have to offer. I hope that that helped. Have a wonderful day. Welcome, welcome. If you're here with me, that means you chose deck number 2. We can get started right away with your reading. For this deck, it should be noted that the main thing that draws people into you is your body. And that's not in any kind of derogatory way. It's just when people see you, there is a quality about you that just draws them in, whether it is a way that you look at them, whether it's a way that you dress. Like, your physical appearance is very striking, even if it's not like a typically feminine or masculine way. It's just when they see you, they know something is special about you. They are very drawn in by the illusion of you. Because that's what I feel like looks are, right? Sometimes they're pretty accurate, but people hold a lot below the surface. They're drawn in by their first impression, and they like what they see. You're very, very physically attractive. Okay, that's a whole daggone reading. Okay. For you, I feel like they're probably very drawn into the face in particular. It says the first kiss. You are probably an amazing kisser, a very powerful flirt. And that's a good thing. You are very confident, and you just make them see fireworks when they get intimate with you. It has this Knight of Roses, also called the Front Runner, in the reverse. It kind of gives me the same vibe, actually, that the Knight of Rings gives me. This one says the Late Bloomer, and this is the Front Runner in reverse, and I feel like they're very similar in the message that they're trying to convey. You are not a person who, like, peaked in high school necessarily. Like, it took a while for you to find your style, and so now it's like, whereas before people didn't really view you in that way, now it's like, oh, you're coming into your own. You are not a duck, you're a swan. Like, you have finally found a style that works, that draws people into you, that is uniquely your own. And now other people, they see you and it says, I fucked up. It says, sorry, I'm the worst on the cake. Oh my God. It's like, I feel like sometimes when cards show up in the reverse, it's not necessarily the opposite, but it's like extra emphasis on this. And for real, with the rest of it, I feel like people who are drawn to you, they are probably people that you knew in the past, who knew you when you were still in your, um, trying to search for the right words, when you were in like your ugly duckling phase, right? They didn't want you. Oh, who is that? Who's she? Who's he? They're not anything to me. They're not cute. I would never date someone like that. And now they're like really bent up about it. Like when people see you on the street and they see what you've become, they see how manly or how feminine that you've become. They're like, oh, geez, can't believe I messed that one up. And I think that plays into what I was saying before, that people are drawn in by your physical appearance. I don't feel like it was an accident. I feel like because you were such a late bloomer that you purposely try to evoke a physical reaction from people now. Because now that you know a style that gets you attention, like, you are making up for lost time. And there is nothing wrong with that. Let's see what else. What else? When people get involved with you, they tend to become pretty possessive of you, for better or worse. You really have their heart under lock and key. They don't want anyone else to have you, and because you are so physically captivating now, they have a hard time allowing other people to see that, because they're very insecure that they could lose you. Oh, all right. But beneath all of that external, you are still very loving. And that can also lead to them not wanting people to know, because it's like a dime a dozen finding someone who's purely physically attractive, but you also have a heart of gold, because you know what it's like to be rejected. People didn't want you growing up, so you're like, hey, now that I, am this person, I might put up a facade on the outside, but once you're committed, you are fully committed, and your partner really appreciates that. They don't want you going anywhere. They don't want other people to see that you not only have it going on, but that you are very loving too. And then it says the cliffhanger, but it's in the reverse. I feel like you don't play games with people. They really appreciate that you don't leave them hanging. If you say you're going to call, you call. If you say you're going to be there for them, you're there. You don't leave anyone hanging. You still remember when people, left you and, didn't invite you to things. It colors the way that you treat other people, and they really appreciate that. And also with the host, this is kind of this deck's version of the Hierophant, and it's very much like You give people respect. You run your show in the most ethical way that you possibly can, and you try to get all angles. Like, you are just a solid person, male or female. I mean, because it does have associations with the Hierophant, I feel like that's why they chose the male figure. But it doesn't have to be. It could just be your demeanor overall. Like, you are easygoing, you listen to others, you don't judge, you just let people unfold who they are in front of you, and they really appreciate that about you. All right, let's see what else that we can gather about group number 2. Ooh, you look good naked. Oh my god, this deck always gives me the juiciest readings, I swear. You are proud of your body. They really appreciate your physical aspects. And because you spent so much time not being appreciated for how special and how beautiful you were on the inside, you have chosen to live out loud. You party, you dance, you are that girl or that guy now. Like, you are not afraid to be the center of attention. And why not? You deserve it. I mean, they might not want other people necessarily knowing how special you are on the inside, but they do appreciate that you look that good and that you are that fun. And you just shine. That's funny. That's so funny. It's like one right after the other. Like, you are just it. You glow. Everywhere you go, you light up the whole room, and they notice and they appreciate it. You know, you're not the type to hold back your shine. You are like the person who rubs a little glitter on everyone around you. Like, you shine in unison with them. And then it says radical rebirth, which I think is just a reiteration of everything that was said in the previous tarot read. Like, you have been reborn. You don't hide who you are. You are 100% authentically you. You are committed to being you. And they really appreciate that, because even though you might seem too good to be true sometimes, you are one of the rare people who is that good. You're not all surface level. And that's what's up. What can you do to assist you in finding love and really making the most out of this inherent magnetism that I'm seeing for you? You need to spread your wings. Maybe this is a part of you that you're just toying with at the moment, and you haven't fully embraced it, or maybe you try to hide it because your partner can be a little possessive sometimes. Or, yeah, don't let other people make you feel alone. You're no longer who you were before, when you felt like no one wanted you. Spread your wings and don't be afraid to venture out and to find refuge. Don't listen to people who don't have your highest good in mind. They're secretly very envious of you. I mean, who wouldn't be envious of such a radical glow up? Don't allow them to dictate how far you can take it. because you could go as far as the eye can see. There are parts of you that they can't even imagine. They just see you, as looking beautiful, being confident, and then they're like, oh, I bet you they got some work done, or they're not all that. Like, don't listen to them. Listen to you. Listening to yourself has gotten you as far as you've come. So do not stop. Don't look back. F the haters. You are very much, people are drawn in by your heart, again, with this Queen of Flutes, the caregiver with her heart in her hand. It says something about your windpipe. I'm not sure. When I pulled this card, it almost gives me like, maybe you like to sing, or like you have a very, very good speaking voice. I almost feel like you'd be really great at like phone sex or something. Like, your voice is probably very sultry. You probably developed that quality because you were such a wallflower at one point. Like, you probably only spoke to people on the phone. If you do have a very lovely voice, or you really like to sing, I feel like it will draw people in. And again, it's kind of like the clavicle or the collarbone. I feel like for you, if you were to accentuate with like necklaces, chains, things that really accentuate your neck, it will be very good for you. If you wear stones, I would probably try to wear like some kind of wrapped stone around your neck, something that's going to accentuate that throat chakra quality that's coming through for you. Like, when you speak, people listen. Your voice is very seductive, and people are drawn to your neck. Like, accentuate how that looks. And I think that you can draw in a lot more people if that's what you're looking for. And that's all I have for you. All right. And last but not least, we have deck number 3, and the Stone Association being the amethyst. This is a stone that I really like. It's in my wedding ring. I really appreciate the qualities of deep insight that this stone brings, and I really associated it with this deck because for you, whoever chooses this third deck, your strongest quality that draws people to you is your soul. It could come in through the eyes, but it's kind of just like this pervasive aura that comes off of you. When people see you, they know that you are going to trigger something inside of them that is going to make them grow. You have this very inherently spiritual aspect of you, and people just cannot get enough of that. You feed their spirit in a way that other people just will not. You are highly in tune, and they see that and they appreciate it. I have the Queen of Swords. This does not have to be a female, but it very much could be. If you are a male, you probably think very femininely, and you really put your mind to the task of coming up with the best solution for everyone. The Queen of Swords is a very good task manager. It's not showing up in the reverse, so the more negative qualities of the Queen of Swords are kind of negated in this instance. but it's very much someone who speaks the truth no matter the consequences, and people really appreciate that about you. But you don't do it necessarily just for the sake of being a butthole. It's to see other people grow. You are not a person that carries a lot of anxiety with you. If you do see that quality in others, you're quick to point it out, because Queen of Swords, like, you're very direct with people about what you feel intuitively, and you want to help them become better versions of themselves. So you address it head on. You don't allow your anxieties or other people's anxieties to ruin the relationships that you have with them, and they really like that. And also with this Tower card, a lot of people fear the Tower, but it's actually one of my favorite cards. And this is all about what people find most attractive about you. They like that you are kind of like the Tower personified. You destroy old habits. You destroy what doesn't work any longer. You are not going to let an injustice stand. You don't mind shaking up their world. Anytime that they are in your presence, that you trigger them. It's kind of like soulmate vibes to me. Like, you are going to be the catalyst for the growth of those who find themselves intimately attracted to you, and they appreciate the heck out of that. I get a very creative vibe. If you write music or stories, your written word is very powerful. People really appreciate the things that you write. If it's even as petty as like blog posts or something, there's something that you do when you write. It's like you are channeling not just your thoughts, but you are triggering ancestral thoughts. You have a divine wisdom about you. You also show up with justice. Again, very fair-minded. You are trying to make sure that the outcome is best for everyone involved, and people see it and they appreciate it. You have a tendency to carry the burdens of others. It kind of gives me wounded healer vibes. Like, you've gone through a lot in your life, and it gives you the leverage to see things from a higher point of view. So even though justice can seem harsh when it's given, right? But you know that people know when they come to you that it's fair. You have seen this happen before. You notice patterns right away with people, places, and things, and you're right on it. You will not let an injustice stand. You are willing to carry the emotional burdens of others and to assist them. You are kind of like this beetle below. You carry the burdens of other people because you've been through it, and you can help to lead them out. They need you for that. You are not as emotional as other readings, but I feel like for you that's okay, because you most likely do draw in people who, well, we know they are wounded, right? And you heal them, and you can't do that from an emotional seat. Sometimes they may express a little discomfort in how calculating and how fair and balanced you can be, but in the end, they do appreciate the fact that you are not an emotional mess in the ways that people can tend to become around you. And that's just reiterated by this reversed Ace of Wands or Ace of Cups that you are not quick to change your emotions about things. You are kind of like how this cup is pouring out onto these watering plants. Like you're constantly spilling over, you water others, and you won't stop sometimes, even if the cup is empty, because you are like a person who is a wellspring for others. Like you have done the work, and so now you're leading other people. This is a very heavy reading, heavier than others, but if you chose this deck, it's because you are drawn to it, and because people are attracted to you for your spirit. Just know that it's a heavier burden than the others, because of the fact that you are guiding them in a very divine way, and that takes a certain type of person. Don't resent the fact that you can be viewed outside as a little harsh, because the people who are attracted to you are drawn to you because of that quality. Let's see what else draws people to group number 3. I have the void. The void is the beginning and the end, and it just speaks to how deeply intuitive you are. You are the catalyst for the beginning and the ending of their cycles. When people seek you out for relationships, could be like friendship wise, but definitely in the romantic sense, they're drawn to the void inside of you. You channel directly from the ether. You trigger their spiritual growth. You trigger them to end cycles. You are the beginning and the end for them. Soul work. The reason that you can trigger this profound awakening in people is because of, again, like I said before, all of the soul work that you've done. You have been busy, like the bee in this card, filling in all of these honeycombs, brick by brick. You have not been afraid to face your demons. People look at how brave you've been and how tireless you've worked to become a good person, and they are insanely attracted by that. You have the ability to transmute the most negative circumstances for yourself and others. When things are going wrong, like that card before, speaking of how you don't allow anxiety to flourish, you are very good at seeing your loved one in pain and finding a way to turn that pain into joy. You don't allow yourself to sit in things that don't serve you. You make them something grander, always. And I have movement. You are not afraid to move on from anyone or anything. And believe it or not, that is an insanely attractive trait, because way too many people, when they are looking for a love, they don't want someone easy. They are attracted by the fact that you've done so much inner work that you will not allow yourself to be jerked on a chain by anyone. If they're not acting right, you are not afraid to be like, hey, I need a break. I'm dipping out, and you can come back to me when you have sense. They know that you cannot be taken for granted. You just simply will not allow it. You've done too much healing work with yourself, and you are just like, no more. You know your worth, and because you are so steadfast in your boundaries and your willingness to move forward, they are insanely attracted by that. They know that you are a once in a lifetime find, and they're not willing to let you slip through their grasp so easily. All right. When we are talking about you, okay, that was quick. When it comes to group number 3 and cultivating their attractive traits, I would say keep doing what you're doing. Keep facing your darkest fears. Don't allow them to consume you. You clearly, to me, are doing a lot of shadow work. So just continue to dive into your shadows. Like, the more healed you are, the more attractive that other people will find you. And there's a little imbalance with giving and receiving. It could be either or, whether you are people are giving you too much of their grief, or that you are not receiving the same support that you give. But make sure that, because you are so spiritually open and you will trigger growth in the people that find themselves attracted to you, you must insist that it is an equal exchange. Don't allow them to dump and dump and dump on you all their trauma. Even though you are equipped to deal with it, you have your own shadow work that you still need to do. You are the wounded healer. You are not healed yet, but you are working very hard on it. So don't allow them to, you can't do the healing work for them. You may be the catalyst, but you cannot be the person who sees it through. They have to do their fair share, and they have to be willing to help you when you need it. And then it says to simply love, which it may be a little tough of an ask from someone who has so many sword aspects showing up. You can be rather to the point. You don't necessarily accept the love, and it can be hard to give that healing from a heart-centered space. But know that if you can give your messages and your advice purely from love and not a seat of pain, that people will really, really appreciate it, more than they already do appreciate you. And then, as I've done with the others, let's see what we can do on a surface level to accentuate what you have going on, because you know what to do inside, without a doubt. It says wrist. If there's any kind of like jewelry that you wear on your wrists, or like if men and women, they can wear watches, right? There's going to be a great appeal. Like, if you can really accentuate your wrist, you probably have a very lovely bone structure in that area. So make the most of it and show it. Also, your hair. People are very drawn to it, no matter what the texture of it is. Spend a little time every day really putting in just a little extra effort in how your hair looks. Something also told me to say, like, how it smells. Like, I know there's certain like hair products that don't necessarily smell too good, or they just kind of like smell like grease or something like that. But like, if you can like find something with like really natural ingredients, something that smells very sweet, or if you're like masculine, something like a woody smell, something that's like distinctly you, like whatever person is drawn into you, like they'll be drawn in by the appearance of your hair for sure, but also the smell of it. Like, it will leave behind an odor that they come to associate with you. And also, your stomach. I'm not sure if, I know I'm not, but um, this is maybe a little bit of shadow work for you, but I'm not very comfortable showing my stomach. But maybe it's asking you to kind of take that plunge to bear a little bit of midriff, to heal a side of you who feels like, oh, people don't want to see my tummy. People are very attracted by it. If you can wear, like, for women, I know like they have waist beads and stuff like that, or even like crop tops, or like for dudes to be comfortable. Maybe like you've been afraid in the past of like making love with the lights on or something like that, like, or having women like kiss you, on your tummy or something like that. Like, something about your stomach, like, you haven't been proud of it in the past, but it's very attractive to others. So dive deep and be brave and love the skin that you're in, and accentuate that part of you in your clothing. Also, it just struck me, for men, belts, like, draw their attention to kind of like your waist area a little bit more, and people will really appreciate that. It will speak to how brave you are. But that's all the advice that I have for you guys. Thank you for sticking around with me for your reading. If you liked it, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Every little bit helps. I would love to come on and do some live readings. If you'd like to contact me for a private reading, I do have that information down below in my video description. I really enjoyed all of these readings. I hope that you were able to take a lot of good information from it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.